Okay, well, this is our area where we process our orders. Each of these drawers has a nice old either flour or onion sack or something with a tag on it and everything for each variety. So the names are kind of fun. There's one down here I was looking at, Azure Whir, which was done by a local hybridizer, and it's a blue iris, and it's kind of roughly sort of whirly, but it also is a play on words, as you were. Yeah. My grandfather, J.D. Long, came to Colorado in 1898. So he was one of many people that came to Colorado because he had tuberculosis. Came up to Boulder in about 1900 because he had a good friend here, Mr. Dickensheets, who was the bursar at the University of Colorado. And Mr. Dickensheets helped him find work at various places, and McAllister Lumber Company and all that. And then early on he started clerking at a store in downtown Boulder that was called Noah's Ark. And Noah's Ark was, as the name implies, a variety store. And it also had seeds and bulbs and things. So he thought there was room in Boulder for sort of specializing in that. And in 1905, he managed to persuade a friend, I.T. Earl, who was one of the early mayors of Boulder, to go in with him and purchase Noah's Ark. Mr. Earl was really the money, and my grandfather was the sweat equity, and he managed the store, and after a few years changed the name to the J.D. Long Seed Company to show the change in emphasis from just a variety store to seeds and bulbs. And my dad said that the fact that Woolworths came to town in about 1908 was probably a big motivation. He came from a farm background. He grew up on a farm. His wife, who he married in 1905, Cora Curtis, was also from farm family. So he liked to grow things. I think that was always a big motivation. Yeah, I think this one was 1919. And one thing I loved about this was it's the condensed edition for busy people. We all think we're so busy, but they thought so too in 1919. So this was one of the many brochures that, other than the catalog, you would send out mailings to people that just had a lot of gardening advice. So they also had little stories, sometimes about him, other people, some poetry sometimes. So, and as I mentioned, there were little helpful booklets, the Dahlia Don'ts, the Pansy Pointers, Glad Gossip, and funny little things like, weed 'em and reap, and the idea that you needed to get out there and weed your garden. And so, but that was really what helped capture, I think, a lot of customers, was they felt this was a real person they were dealing with, and they got a lot of advice. So it captured a lot of people, and it made them loyal customers. This is my dad right here, Everett. And that picture was probably taken just before they moved out to this place, which was in 1916. 1940, he got married, and he and my mom ended up spending a lot of their honeymoon in 1940 searching for a dam site. So he had this idea that they would build a high mountain reservoir so that he would have water, a guaranteed water source that could be used on whatever property was available. He searched around and finally settled on a place, Upper Woodland Lake, which is in the Boulder Creek drainage, and it's about 11,000 feet. So it was completed, I think, in around 47 or 48. Which was about the same time that a lot of other water things were going on, because our primary source of water here on our property is the Silver Lake Ditch. And it came off of Boulder Canyon through an old wooden flume, which was leaky. And that's the picture of the flume. So this was probably about 1947, 48. This is an aerial photograph that I think is probably around 54, maybe 55. Yeah, this that's going kind of diagonally across is the farmer's ditch, which we also have some rights in and have used over the years a little bit. But the Silver Lake ditch that we were talking about actually runs to the west of here. Yeah, this catalog, 1960, these are some of the ones that were new at that point. And this is one of many pictures where we were posing for catalog shots. This is one that was in the catalog for many years, and I always remember the morning this picture was taken because it was my first day of first grade. And I went to Foothill School, just cat-a-corner. And I really was excited about going to school, and I didn't want to be late. And my dad wanted to take just one more picture. And he was quite a perfectionist. One thing in a catalog that he wrote about why flowers, because people sometimes would complain. He would always give bonus plants, you know, seed packets, and we do the same with our plants. And he'd send a packet of flower seed or something, and he had a customer that complained, "Why are you sending me flowers? I can't eat them," you know. And he wrote a wonderful essay about why flowers and how important it is to nourish the soul as well as the stomach, you know, and the flowers were very important. And definitely a love with him and with my dad and with me too. So we need flowers as well as foods. This is our 97th year of business. So we're, you know, at least shooting for something big for 100, but we don't do anything in too big a way. That's part of it too. If we stay kind of low key, we enjoy doing what we're doing, and it provides people with a kind of quiet place and a bit of a step back in time. And, you know, that's, we mentioned before about, you know, keeping the old machinery and things, and we've always sort of made do with things and not too extravagant in our purchases, but it's also kind of a nice, simple way of doing things and a slower way of doing things. And in this day and age, I think we all need that. Even people that drive by say that they enjoy just seeing the fields, and it kind of makes them take a deep breath, and that's good. If we can provide that, and in the meantime enjoy what we're doing, that's a wonderful thing, and it's a nice way of being part of the community, but still kind of maintaining our little island here of quiet.